Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about one of the important topic about stem cells. The significant character in most of the multicellular animals is their ability to repair the body system. Repair the body system, what we call replenishment. Such significant character is attributed to stem cells. Stem cells. Stem cells are unique cells which have the ability to retain an undifferentiated state while differentiating into specialized cell types. That means, say for example, X is one stem cell. It divides so that X will be retained, what we call an undifferentiated mother cell will be retained and will differentiate into say Y or A or B. It might be a myocyte or a neuron. That means an undifferentiation state is maintained, at the same time a differentiation to specialized cell type is occurred. That is a unique nature of stem cells, and because of this ability, the most of the multicellular animals attain the ability of replenishment. Replenishment. This is very important. I have used the word unique. Unique because of two characters. Number one, self-renewal. Self-renewal. Number two, cellular potency. Cellular potency. Self-renewal, I have already discussed. An undifferentiated state, mother cell will be retained, at the same time differentiating into specialized cell types. Okay, this is called self-renewal. So that they may undergo repeated mitotic divisions. They may undergo repeated mitotic divisions. Repeated mitotic divisions. This is very important. So, they undergo repeated mitotic division so that they can differentiate into as many specialized cells depending on the kind of stem cells. We will discuss what exactly it is. Okay. Then the second character is cellular potency. Potency means it's the ability of stem cell to differentiate into specialized cell types. Here this potency is not similar. Different stem cells have different potency. Say totipotent stem cells, pluripotent stem cells, multipotent stem cells, unipotent stem cells. Toti means entire. That means stem cell have the ability to differentiate. That means that leads to a complete viable organism. Say they may lead to embryonic and extra embryonic stem cells. That means extra embryonic cells. For example, first few divisions after the zygote formation or the cells derived from morula are the best example for totipotent stem cells. They give us to complete organism. Say any pluripotent, it's not any, they are the descendants of totipotent stem cells. Many, simply what we call many. Say for example, epiblast tissues of inner cell mass of blastocyst. Epiblast of inner cell mass of blastocyst. Best example for pluripotent stem cells. They give rise to three germ layers. Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Over 200 cell types we can get from pluripotent stem cells. As we already discussed, totipotent means say first few divisions of zygote. First few divisions of zygote and morula. Cells derived from morula are best example for totipotent. They give us this complete organism. Any cell. Pluripotent means many cells, but not, that means virtually mean any, but not complete. Like epiblast that gives us ecto, endod and mesoderm. Multipotent means number of cells, but all these are closely related. Say blood cell types, say RBC, WBC. In WBC, neutrophils, say monocytes, say basophils, say eosinophils. They are closely related. Say Example, hemopoietic stem cells. Hemopoietic stem cells. Okay. Then unipotent stem cells. The word it implied, unipotent means here one particular cell type. Cell renewal is there, but just one particular cell type, their own type, say muscle stem cells. Unipotent muscle stem cells. So depending on the potency, we have different stem cells. Totipotent, say for example, first few divisions after zygote formation and morula, that gives rise to embryonic and extra embryonic cells, that means a complete organism. Then pluripotent, say for example, the epiblast cell of inner cell wall of blastocyst, that gives us to ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Over 200 cell types we can get. That means we can differentiate into 200 specialized cell types. Say multipotent, say hemopoietic stem cells. Then unipotent means one particular cell type. Here any, many, number of ones. So depending on the cellular potency, different kinds of stem cells are raised. And the thing is self-renewal. This is very important character of stem cells. One undifferentiated state will be maintained. Okay. Then let us know about how, that means different types of stem cells in mammals. You know, in mammals broadly we have two particular kind of stem cells in mammals. Embryonic stem cells, number 2 adult stem cells, adult or somatic stem cells. Say here embryonic stem cells, say pluripotent stem cells, we have already discussed. You know, cells derived, that means pluripotent stem cells. Example, for example, you know, epiblast of inner cell mass of blastocyst. That means embryonic stem cells are the best example for pluripotent stem cells. That means or embryonic stem cells are pluripotent stem cells. This is very important. We have already discussed now. That means many but not any. Over 200 cell types we can get it. Say it leads to ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Just like, you know, we have discussed in the introduction part. Then adult or somatic stem cells. In adult or somatic stem cells, that means the name it implied, present in various tissues of children and adults. That means in a developed organism. Adult stem cells or somatic stem cells are mostly multipotent. Multipotent means number of stem cells, that number of cells, but all these are closely related. Say blood cell types. So that means, say for example, hemopoietic stem cell is a best example for multipotent stem cell. They give rise to different blood cell types. We will discuss how. Okay. Then, for example, in red bone marrow, mesenchymal stem cells, adipocyte stem cells, then endothelial stem cells. Example for adult or somatic stem cells. Mostly the somatic cells or adult stem cells are multipotent only, but sometimes, not sometimes, even rare, they are pluripotent, say derived from umbilical cord. Okay. So these are in mammals, the broad category, say embryonic stem cells, say the cells from epiblast, and they are pluripotent, that means ecto, endo, and mesoderm. Adult stem cells or somatic stem cells are mostly multipotent. Say for example, you know, red bone marrow, mesenchymal, adipocyte and endothelial stem cells. Okay. Then with respect to one particular, we will discuss about one particular stem cell for you know, understanding how they differentiate into different specialized cell types. This is very important. Say hemopoietic stem cells. Hemopoietic stem cells. Hemopoietic stem cells. Hemopoietic stem cells are two types. One, myeloid stem cells. Two, lymphoid stem cells. This myeloid and lymphoid are the secondary stem cells. What exactly secondary? They are non-renewable. We have already discussed stem cells are self-renewable. Apart from their ability of cellular potency, here they are non-renewable. And these secondary stem cell, what we call myeloid and lymphoid, they give rise to committed progenitor, say erythroid committed progenitor that leads to erythrocytes through erythroblast and reticulocyte. Then basophil committed progenitor that leads to basophil. Eosinophil committed progenitor that leads to eosinophil. Then granulocyte monocyte committed progenitor that leads to neutrophils and monocytes. Then dendritic cells, they directly arise from both myeloid and lymphoid. Then in case of lymphoid stem, that means a stem cell that leads to again committed progenitors, T cell committed progenitor and B cell committed progenitors. And from T cell leads to, it differentiates into T lymphocyte in thymus, and there are two types, TH, that means helper cells, and TC cell, T cytotoxic cells. Whereas B cell committed progenitors, they differentiate into B cell in the bone marrow. It's about the schematic representation, okay? So we will illustrate schematically. Say a self-renewable, it's a self-renewable pluripotent stem cell that leads to myeloid stem cells and lymphoid stem cells. Okay, myeloid and lymphoid stem cells. And this myeloid leads to committed progenitors. Say number 1, erythroid committed progenitor, erythroid committed progenitor, basophil committed progenitor, basophil committed progenitor, CP means committed progenitor, okay, eosinophil committed progenitor, then granulocyte monocyte progenitor, then megakaryoblast. Lymphoid stem cells, I will discuss myeloid and lymphoid are secondary stem cells. They leads to T cell committed progenitor and B cell committed progenitor. Let us back to this point. Erythroid committed progenitor. Erythroid committed progenitor leads, the name it implies, leads to erythrocytes. Erythrocytes through a sequential stages, proerythroblast, then erythroblast, then reticulocyte. Basophil committed progenitor leads to basophils, then leads to mast cells. Eosinophil committed progenitor leads to eosinophils. Granulocyte monocyte progenitor leads to myeloblast committed progenitor, monocyte committed progenitor. Myeloblast committed progenitor leads to neutrophils. Monocytes committed progenitor leads to monocyte. Then macrophages. Megakaryoblast leads to ultimate megakaryocyte. Then this megakaryocyte fragments to form blood platelets. Okay, blood platelets. Then T cell committed progenitor, I already discussed now. They differentiate into T lymphocyte and thymus. Then ultimately two types, TH cell and TC cell. B cell committed progenitor leads to B cell in bone marrow. And another thing is, both from myeloid and lymphoid, dendritic cells directly arises, dendritic cells. Whereas from lymphoid, natural killer cells, what we call NK cells, they arise. So it's about hematopoietic stem cells. Say there are two kinds, myeloid and lymphoid stem cells, both are secondary stem cells, they are non-renewable. And these myeloid stem cells leads to erythroid complete progenitor, basophil complete progenitor, eosinophil complete progenitor, granulocyte monocyte progenitors, megakaryoblast. Erythroid complete progenitor leads to erythrocytes, basophil complete progenitor leads to basophil, then mast cells, eosinophil complete progenitor leads to eosinophils, granulocyte monocyte progenitor leads to myeloblast, and monocyte myeloblast complete progenitor, that means leads to neutrophil, then monocyte complete progenitor leads to monocyte, then ultimate, then macrophages like this. Megakaryoblast leads to megakaryocyte with fragments to form blood platelets, whereas lymphoid stem cell leads to T cell complete progenitor, which differentiates into T lymphocyte in thymus that gives rise to TH. That means T lymphocytes are two types, T helper cells and T cytotoxic cells. Then B cells complete progenitor leads to B cells in bone marrow, whereas dendritic cells arise directly both from lymphoid and myeloid stem cells, whereas natural killer cells arise from lymphoid stem cells. It's about the schematic representation of hemopoietic stem cells. How different blood cells, it's the best example for multipotent stem cells. I already told you now, depending on the ability of potentiality, so totipotent, pluripotent, multipotent and unipotent. Like this, the stem cell research has revolutionized the field of medicine. It leads to advanced medical output. Say a person is affecting from a particular disorder, say because of a disease or a damaged tissue. Say stem cells isolating from umbilical cord may replace the damaged or infected or diseased part. I told you already now. Replenishment, the repairing the body system is because of stem cells. Such is the greatness of stem cells, and the stem cell is an important topic in Andhra Pradesh MSET, NEET, CSR NET and SET exam, that means at the state level as well. And I have referred Andhra Pradesh Telugu Academy intermediate zoology textbooks for this topic, and in examination point of view they might ask you different examples like pluripotent stem cells example, say embryonic stem cells, say epiblast of inner cell mass of blastocyst, totipotent, the first few divisions of zygote, or cells derived from morula. Multipotent stem cells like hemopoietic stem cells, erythroid progenitor, they might ask you different complete progenitors, say granulocyte monocyte complete progenitors leads to neutrophils and monocytes. Likewise, they might ask you they may frame different questions, but this is very important topic in examination point of view, at the same time conceptual point of view. Thanks for watching.